Hello, you're welcome to Life Stories with Bussy. My name is Busala Davids. Thank you for always being my regular companion every Friday. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for all the comments. Those comments are very important and very crucial. Remember that a lot of people tell their stories because they want to embody themselves and they are looking for counsel. And counsel can come in any form. It could just be legal advice. It could be that their human right is being violated. And they don't even know that there's a solution somewhere. They don't really know anything. And then when you give them counsel, it just helps to soothe their wounds. Just remember that the counsel that you give helps to soothe their wounds. So please don't forget to drop your comments. Make sure that you're always dropping your comments. Don't forget to also refer us to other people. Tell people about Life Stories with Bussy. Some of us are here to learn. Some of us need the shoulder to cry on. Whichever way, just to refer people. Tell them about Life Stories with Bussy. Okay, so today I have a story, but the lady has chosen to remain anonymous, and of course I'll respect that. So she sent me a voice note that was like 46 minutes long. So I've decided to summarize the story because obviously we can't take 46 minutes. So basically she said she was an orphan. She knew her mom. Her mom was a single parent. She wasn't sure whether her mom married her father. She never knew who her father was, but she knew her mom, and then her mom died when she was young, and then she was sent to her cousin's house. This was an older cousin. She was sent to her cousin's house. This cousin had 6 children that she had to be taking care of, and she was taking care of these children, and it was really like stressful for her. She was hardly going to school because she was helping to take care of 6 children. Imagine 6 children. So she was hardly going to school. She didn't have writing materials. She didn't have things. She didn't have school things to go to school and all that. And so she was just living for this her cousin. This her older cousin. Like one day that the baby pooed, and then she was talking to one of the neighbors, and then the cousin came from nowhere, and the cousin slapped her, and the cousin was like, "What are you doing?" and all that, and that she kept on threatening that she was going to take her to the village, and that she was so angry, and she was like, "Take me to the village. What is it?" That she was tired of being a slave and all that she was meant to go to school, but she wasn't going to school and all that. When she reacted and she refused to be bullied, the lady, her cousin, decided to get people to beg her to stay because she said she was ready to go to the village. So they were always threatening her that they were not going to send her to school and things like that, and all that. They would send her to the village. So I think one of those occasions they actually took her to the village, and that was when she knew that her grandmother was alive. So the lady took her back to the village, got her brothers, and her brothers beat her very well, and then she dumped her in the village. So she found her way back to Lagos, and when she found her way back to Lagos, she said that she knew some of her friends, that she didn't know that they were into prostitution. She tried to move in with them, and then after feeding her for some days, they told us, "Babe, this is what we do, and you would need to join us." And she was like, "Oh, she doesn't want to join them to do that." And those ones were like, "Oh, you have to leave." He did with them that they should allow her sleep on the corridor of the house till she got something. So she started working in a bakery and things like. She started doing a lot of stuff, hawking and all that, and she was able to gather some money, and then she got a room. So she started going to church, and at the church, she met a man who was the youth leader. The man was the youth leader in church, and that was how she knew the guy. It wasn't like she was interested in the guy or anything. The guy was the youth leader. She said there was a guy who was interested in her. The guy was living in Germany, but she wasn't interested in the guy per se. She really wasn't into the guy. So she was always confiding in her youth leader. So she didn't even know anything. So this youth leader is the culprit that we're going to talk about today. So this youth leader came to her and loaned money from her. He said he wanted to go to Bible school, and so she loaned the man the money to go to Bible school. The man came back from the Bible school, paid her back, and then the man approached her, and the man proposed to her and said that, "Oh, I'm interested in getting married to you." And she didn't even know where it was coming from, but the man was like, "Oh, God has told me that you're my wife." It was like she wasn't even sure whether she was hypnotized, but somehow they started talking about marriage. She said that someone had relocated and the person had left a furnished apartment, like a furnished one-bedroom apartment, and the person had said, oh, you can take this over. So she had told the guy, and she felt like, oh, when they get married, they will move into that apartment, because the guy was actually squatting with somebody else. And the person that the guy was squatting with, I told her that, please, you see this guy, don't marry this man. You will not enjoy the man. But she felt like, oh, she felt like the person that was quoting this husband, that the person was just being malicious, so she actually did not listen to what the guy was saying. If only she had, but she actually did not listen to what the guy was saying. So she went ahead, and then they started planning this wedding, or she started spending money on the wedding, because this guy did not do anything, did not contribute anything towards the wedding. She was the one that bought everything. She was the one that on the day of the wedding, people were coming to me to say, we don't have Maggie, and please bring money for Maggie, even the clothes. She said that the lace that the man wore, that the man, it was like a remnant of the lace that his friend had sewn. So there was like 3 yards remaining, so they had to share that 3 yards. So the guy took some 3 yards, combined it with something. She now took the guy took 1.5 yards, combined it with something. She took 1.5 yards, combined it with something. The guy did not have money, so she was the one that kind of bankrolled the wedding. She said that, like, when they were making her up on the day of the wedding, the man came to pack her things, and she was like, why are you taking them to? And the guy was like, don't worry. Eventually she found out that her husband took the things to a friend's house. This friend was married, was also married, so he carried his new wife, who they were, we were supposed to go on honeymoon, but he carried his new wife, and then he went to stay with his friend who was also married. Of course, there were lots of issues with that friend who was also married. She was tired of staying with them. She said like they stayed there for like 7 or 9 months, and then she was tired. But so she was always going out to do a lot of stuff. She would go to the market, try to see what she could do. She would hawk and everything, and she was able to raise money to get an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment in an outskirts of Lagos. At a point, the guy started having issues with the main church. He was supposed to be the youth leader, and he was supposed to be having like a youth fellowship, but maybe he was doing more than that. So the church was beginning to have issues with him, and then he moved the fellowship from the church, and then he moved that fellowship somewhere. So in fact, like, he left the church, but she was still in that main church while the guy was doing his ministry. So there was a point he said that the guy and a family, and they were the ones who offered him a space where he was doing his ministry work. So she went there one day, and she met a lot of ladies. The ladies were just like giving her very bad vibes. They were looking at her and eyeing her, and she felt like uncomfortable. She felt like there was something going on, but the guy came to switch rap her and say, no, there's nothing going on. That the guy was just always switch rapping her and all that. Then she said there was also a point where these same ladies who maybe their parents were the owner of the property, came to meet her, and they loaned money from her. The guy had probably told them that she had money, that the wife had money, so they came to loan money from her. And when she even wanted to collect her money back, they beat her very well, and they did not return her money. That later they just apologized for beating her, but they never returned her money. So a lot of things were going. So she just felt like she wasn't comfortable with where the guy was. So she went to rent a space for them to have the youth fellowship. So she paid for the space, and then she also got a small office for her husband, the pastor. So she did all this. She paid for all this and everything. And then all of a sudden, one day she comes to the place, and then she sees this young lady who was going up and down. This is supposed to be, and she was wondering, who is this person? Apparently, pastor had employed a PA, and the PA started showing herself everywhere. She was always, in command and in control and everything. And then she said she had to tell her husband that, what is it? What kind of power have you given to this girl that she's doing all this, behaving like this and all that? Anyway, that when she started having children, and she was the one doing all the work. She said, in fact, there was a time that she was working recharge cards, and then she had that place. She had those umbrellas where you come and make a call. That her husband came and said, why are you doing this kind of job? People will think that I'm not taking care of you, and the truth was that she was the breadwinner. This guy didn't have anything. So the guy was like, why are you doing this? People will think I'm not taking care of you. You came to put umbrella here, and you are making people just come. She just talks. She said that the guy went to report her to one pastor, somebody that he reports to, and that the pastor called and she told the pastor straight away that, look, I'm making money from here and I'm not going to leave this place. Anyway, they started having children. So she said that they had 3 children, but then they lost the one in the middle. I mean, she said that was a story for another day. So she said as things went on, the man started misbehaving, started doing a lot of stuff. She found out that this lady that was flaunting herself up and down was having an affair with her husband, because one day her husband forgot his phone at home, and then the lady sent a text, and then she saw the text message. So she took the phone to report to the husband's spiritual father, and she showed the man that, look, see, he has a relationship with this girl. So I mean, he was doing all that. But part of the things she did again, she said that her husband's family, that they were really like poor. They were poor, very poor people, a forehead. So she had to go bring the husband's younger sister to Lagos, and that one was staying with them. And then that one felt like things were really rosy here. So that one told the elder sister. The elder sister now sent her own daughter to come and join them. So she was like, why would you send your daughter without, you did not even inform me? They didn't inform her. The elder sister, they are discussed with pastor, and pastor agreed. Meanwhile, pastor wasn't the one that was responsible for the home, so they did not tell her anything. So she just saw this girl showed up, and she was like, So what happened was that she said that sorry, that the pastors cannot stay with them, that already they are like a lot of people. They already had children, and the sister was there, the brother was there. Then you went to bring your niece without telling me. I mean, these are lots of people, and I'm the breadwinner. I'm the one actually making money. You are not making money. You're just doing ministry work, So because of this, they sent back the pastor's niece, and pastor's elder sister did not like it, and so they were waiting for her. But when pastor's grandmother died, when she went to the village in the night, they refused for her to stay in the family house. They sent her away. They said, sorry, you cannot sleep here, just because of the incident that had happened before. So she and pastor had to go and sleep. She and pastor had to go and sleep in the hotel. Pastor did apologize and said, sorry, you know how this was. Anyway, eventually they tried to implicate her. All of a sudden, the pastor said that she was fetish, that she took some girl to some place, and that the girl was not acting normal, that the girl was the girl was deranged, and that the girl confessed that it was this lady, the lady narrating the story, that took her to the place. And she was like, me, how, which day? The day that they talked about was the day that she said she went to buy fish from the lady that called her. So the lady that called her knew that she wasn't, she had an alibi. The lady that called her from church sells fish. So she said that that was the day that she was with that one. She went to buy fish from her, and then she stayed with her. So there was no possible for her to have taken that person to the place where they told her, where they said she took. It wasn't possible for her to have taken the person that they said she took somewhere to the place. But anyway, long and short of the story is that they implicated her. They said that she was fetish and all that. The next thing, pastor packed this thing and pastor left the house. When pastor left the house, she stayed in that house for 2 years. And the owner of the house at the point had to say, sorry, you have to start paying, because the owner of the house was a widow. And she was like, look, you have to start paying. I've endured for some time. I can't continue again. She said before that time that pastor loaned money from her, loaned 1 million naira from her. That 1 million naira was her saving. She had been saving that money, and the pastor never returned that money. So at the time when pastor said that she was fetish, and he said that he wasn't going to have anything to do with her, pastor did not return the money. So she also did not have any money. So she was really like, she didn't have anything, So she said her children were still with her, but because she didn't have that kind of fatherly love, she didn't know her father and all that, she didn't want She didn't want that to happen to her children. She was always telling their children, she would tell them every Sunday, go to church, go and meet your daddy. Go to church, go and meet your daddy. And that the guy wasn't really like fending for them. Maybe you give them small money here, but the guy wasn't fending for them. So at a point, she said she moved her things, that she rented a shop. And in that shop, she moved her things to the shop. She partitioned the shop. She was living, she put her things in like half of the space, and she was staying there, and then she was using half of it to sell things. And that the pastor would pass in front of the church and mock her and make mockery and just say, look at where you are staying, fetish woman. So because she wasn't saying much, nobody was ready to listen to her. Everybody was listening to pastor had spoken, so everybody was listening to pastor, so nobody was ready to listen to her, to hear her own side of the story. She said she didn't even know what they were talking about, but everybody just assumed that, oh, so she was fetish, and people didn't want to have anything to do with her. Even some of her friends that initially were going to help her, pastor reached out to them and told them that your friend is fetish, you don't help her because she will use your money for juju and all that. So so she didn't have any help, but she was trying to get her life together. But then she wanted her children to know their father, because she didn't want to alienate them from their father. She said that was her undoing. So she said that she didn't know when her daughter started having discussions with the father, started planning behind her back about going to school, that when she knew, she couldn't believe that her daughter would have conversations that behind her with the father, that it was as if the girl didn't even know what she was doing. And she was like, you've been living with me all this while, you already know what we have gone through, all these years. Your father wasn't helping and all that. All of a sudden you're colluding with your father, understand. So the girl said that the father was helping her to get into school, and then the man said something about a nursing school in Anambra, and then the girl woke up one morning and she just said, and they said we should come to the schools. The man would take the girl away, they will come back. So they said that the man took the girl twice to the place, and then all of a sudden one day the girl just woke up and said, and the girl just said, oh, I've gotten admission. Before the woman could say Jacobin, the girl had gone. She said she started calling her number, like, where are you? Her phone number, was switched off. Like, sometimes the phone will ring. And then there was now one time that the girl called and said, I want my name number. That she gave the girl the name number, and then after that she would call and say, where are you? Then she had to call the man to say, please, where is this girl? Where is my child? Where did you take my child to? Is she in school? Let me go and check her in school. Man said that the girl is not yet ready. When she's ready to attend to you, she would pick your calls. The girl doesn't want to speak to you right now. And she's like, my child, the child that was staying with me, the child that we're suffering together, So she doesn't even know what the man did with her child. And so she feels like there's something going on. Her child isn't picking her call. She doesn't know where the child is. She calls the man to say, where's my child? The man does not give her any answer. She doesn't even know where her child is. She's worried. She said she just even wants to know that the child is fine. The girl is 16 years old. The 16-year-old girl is not picking her calls. The girl is not answering her. Sometimes her phone is switched off. Sometimes it rings and doesn't answer. And that she doesn't trust this her husband, because she doesn't know what the husband has done with her child. So she really wants to see her child. She said that she knows that the man might have poisoned the child's mind against her, but all she wants to know is that her child is fine. And so, there are a lot more to this story, but I just had to summarize. But at the end of the day, I just thought to myself, wow, that for me, from the beginning of the story, of course, what I saw was a man that knew that this girl didn't have support, and knew that the girl was enterprising, and the girl had money that she had saved, and the man wanted the money. And when the man felt like it was done, like he felt like he had attained, the ministry had moved forward, she wasn't good enough any longer, the man was making money from something else. And fine, if he wants to move on, fine, but the issue that I have is holding on to this child. Like, you kidnapped your child and you are not allowing the mother to see the child. She said she doesn't even know what to do. And okay, so she said she doesn't know what to do, doesn't have money to employ lawyers to start chasing the matter or anything, but she just wants to know that her child is fine, that's all, and that this man is not making life easy for her, and can be rendered to her. What help can be rendered to this lady, because of course she's just like, see, yes, even if she wants to stay with her father, it's okay. I don't have a problem. My only problem is I need to know where this girl is. How can I have a child that I don't know where she is? What do you people think that we can do? What can we do? Remember that there's even no family to go and meet to say, there's no family to appeal to, because already the family has an issue with her. One of the lessons I also picked in this story is, women, be very careful. Be very, very careful. There are men outside there who are outside there preying on women. They are preying on women who they feel like they don't have any support, and if they want to, manipulate them to get money from them, if they want to prey on them to get money from them, they would, and they will do it successfully. So women, you need to be very careful. Of course, the flags are always there. The red flags are always there. Like this lady said, she doesn't even know whether she was hypnotized, but the flags were all there. She saw it. So, I think that can be done. Can the court mandate this man to allow this woman see the child and all that? Lawyers in the house, what do you people think? I would like to hear from you. And if you're a lawyer out there and you want to help this lady, please, we're calling on you. This lady needs help. So next time when I come your way again, my name remains Busola David. Thank you. Bye.